Hi, I'm Sara and welcome to Hen Corner. Today we're doing something really exciting. We're going to be fermenting vegetables. Now I love preserving food. I hate wasting food, so I preserve food so that it lasts longer, but I often find that the preserved product is actually nicer than the fresh product. So give me a chutney over a bowl of fresh vegetables any day. I love it. That makes me sound really unhealthy, like I don't like fresh vegetables. I do like fresh vegetables, but I love what we're able to do to make it even better. And particularly if that process means that we're saving food from being thrown away or wasted. So you'll see I've got a bowl of vegetables here, and some of them do look a bit sad. I've got some radishes. They only arrived in the veg box a couple of days ago. They're not my favourite raw, but these are going to be perfect in the ferment. Carrots that I didn't put in the fridge as soon as I should have done, they've gone a bit bendy. So, you know, these will be fine in fermented vegetables. You wouldn't want to snack on that. Try dipping that into hummus and it'll bend and flop and you won't scoop anything up. So the carrots are a bit past their best, as are the radishes, but everything else is fine. I've got some cabbage, I've got white cabbage, I've got some red cabbage, I've got a courgette, I've got onions, I've got pepper. I think when you're fermenting vegetables, you can ferment so many different things, but I like to start with a sort of coleslaw basic. So if you've got carrots and cabbage and onions, that's a great foundation. And then anything else that goes in is a bonus. So we're going to do a nice mixed slaw, and this is going to be very similar to a piccalilli. So that's why we've gone for a bit of courgette and pepper as well. So the whole process of fermenting vegetables is you start off by cutting the vegetables as small as you can or as small as you like. I'm going to use the food processor for ease, just blitz it all through. And then once you've blitzed it through, you sprinkle on some salt, and the salt encourages the liquids in the plant, in the vegetables, to be drawn out. And you'll find that even in a matter of hours, your vegetables are sitting in liquid that has come out of the vegetables themselves. Now, I make cider every September, and I know very well that the fresh apple juice will start fermenting within minutes because of the yeast that's already on the apples. So there is yeast on this, and this will start fermenting quite quickly. So I'm talking you through what we're going to do now, and then we'll follow it up with after we've seen what happens overnight. So I'm going to cut all the vegetables up, I'm going to sprinkle it with salt, give them a bit of a massage in this big bowl, and then leave them with just a tea towel over the top overnight whilst the liquid continues to come out. Now we're going to pack it into this jar, and what's going to happen is the liquid that comes out will start fermenting, and it almost becomes a little bit like a vinegar. So think of pickled onions, that's onions in a vinegar. But with this process, you don't have to buy the vinegar because the liquid coming out of the vegetables is fermenting itself, and that's becoming your pickling liquid. So alongside the vegetables, the salt that we need to draw the moisture out, I'm going to put in some flavours. I'm going to have the lovely trinity of garlic, ginger and chilli. I've also got some fresh turmeric here. This is going to be perfect in it. So we're going to peel this and grate that into it. And alongside those, I'm also going to put some cumin, coriander and mustard seeds. So we're going to have this wonderful selection of vegetables and spices all fermenting together in the liquid that has been drawn out of the vegetables just by the addition of some salt. So I'm telling you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get blitzing in the food processor. I'm going to shred and grate. So I want shredded cabbage and I want grated carrots, and then you'll see the liquid that comes off, and then we'll get packing it into the jar tomorrow because we're going to leave it overnight. See you tomorrow. Our shredded vegetables have been left overnight, and if we just take the cover off, you can see that the salt has drawn out quite a bit of liquid, and there's quite a bit of liquid in the bottom of this bowl. Now that liquid that's been drawn out of the vegetables is the very liquid that's going to be fermenting with the yeast that are on the vegetables and in the vegetables, And that fermented liquid is what's going to preserve, is going to pickle these vegetables. So as I said previously, think of it like pickled onions, pickled vegetables, but instead of buying vinegar, you're making your own vinegar by fermenting the very liquids that are in the vegetables that are released once the vegetables are cut, and when you've got the salt there to help draw out the drawing it out by osmosis, the liquid through the cell wall, giving you a nice liquid at the bottom, which is going to pickle, preserve, ferment your vegetables. So rather than a preserve where you're adding lots of sugar, if you think of a jam or a chutney, or adding lots of vinegar that you've had to buy in, this is much more natural. You've got all the great enzymes, you've got all the good fermented nutrients there that is good for your gut health, and it also helps you to digest it better because the vegetables are being broken down in the fermentation process, which makes it much easier for our body to take the nutrients from it rather than it just passing straight through. So it's much better for us. We can benefit from the nutrients, we can benefit from the gut health, and it's absolutely delicious and a fantastic way of preserving vegetables. So I've got this fantastic big jar that I got from my neighbours, and I've cleaned it out, and all I need to do is pack the vegetables into here. Great, I have chosen the right utensil to do this. So the aim is to pack them in. I probably haven't got quite enough vegetables to fill this jar. I can always add some more in later. And once they're all packed in, we want to pour the liquid on top and press it down, because we want all of the vegetables to be under the fermenting liquid, because that's what's going to preserve them. So I'm going to load this up. Woo! It is going everywhere. If you're very clever, you might spot some little bits of cauliflower. I found a cauliflower in the fridge and thought they would make a lovely addition. Packing it all down. The residue of liquid we're pouring on top, it's slightly dark because of the red cabbage. So the colours have come out of the red cabbage. It's made the liquid a sort of dark red colour. And then press down the vegetables as much as possible, because you want them sitting in the liquid. So remember, we haven't added liquid to it, it's just the liquid that has come out, leached out of the vegetables when we've cut them and we've added the salt. I'm going to press it down like that. And then pop all these extra little bits here, they can go in. And then pop the lid on the jar. We're going to keep this at room temperature. And over the course of the next week, the liquid is going to continue to ferment, and there's more liquid is going to seep out, so it's going to increase in size as it ferments. We will see it will look like the contents are expanding, because fermentation produces carbon dioxide. So what will happen is the bubbles, the carbon dioxide, it will start fizzing and it will start to increase into this space here. And it's quite a good idea every couple of days just to release the lid, because you'll start to see that there's a bit of pressure there. And that's fine to release the lid, that's absolutely fine, because you don't want an explosion. It's not going to explode, but you can sometimes find liquid starts to come out and it drizzles a bit, so just make sure you release the lid. And then after about a week to 10 days, taste your fermented vegetables, and if you think, yeah, that's nice, but it's not quite as sour as I'd like, or it's not quite as vinegary as I'd like, leave it at room temperature for a bit longer. What I'm going to do with this one, I'm probably going to leave it for about 10 days, taste it. If I want it a bit more vinegary, I will leave it at room temperature a bit longer. And then when it hits the acidity level that I like, I'm actually going to stir some honey through as well to sweeten it, because I'm looking for sort of a piccalilli style flavour. So we've got the turmeric in there, we've got ginger, we've got garlic, we've got chilli, we've got a whole variety of vegetables, we've got mustard seeds, we've got cumin, we've got coriander, and a bit of honey that we're going to put in at the end, and then fork it through, stir it through, and then if we're happy with that flavour and it's just how we want it, then transfer this to the fridge, because the fridge will stop it fermenting any longer, because the fridge slows down fermentation. So that is our very, very simple guide to fermenting vegetables. This makes a really lovely sort of condiment. You don't have a big bowl of this like a side salad. It's not like it's not like a coleslaw that you'd have loads of it. But you know what? Having this in a burger alongside your dinner, it works with hot food, cold food, lovely with a barbecue, lovely with a salad. It's like just a pickle on the side. Eat as much of it as you like. It's only going to do you good, and there's no nasties in there, there's no preservatives. We've made this ourselves. You've seen how we've done it. It's really, really straightforward. Have a go and let me know how you get on. Brilliant. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you have a go at making it yourself. Look forward to seeing you next time. Join us on the journey.